It's finally ready. One day in advance, we got our app ready with the new UI, by the way. If you just found this video, this is the last video of a series of a challenge that I set upon myself to build a web app without any knowledge of coding within a week. Now, I'm gonna walk you through the web app, then I'm gonna share the main learnings and eventual next steps, shall we? All right, so this is our homepage where you have, of course, the logo and the 4 main functionalities of our web application. Let's go one by one. First one is the most important one, is the test generator. That's where teachers, managers, and owners of this language school can create tests and conversation questions, teacher tips, also retrieve the last class diary information. That's all to help them build up or come up with a class they will give next to their student. So in this case, the premises are, you're going to input your name, the student name, content URL, meaning based on this URL, we're going to set up the class. Let's use one of my videos as example. So I just inputted the URL here, the teacher name, student name, and we generate the test. All right, so this is the test generated with 5 questions, and you get to export that to a Word document so you can send to the students and the student can take the test in the class. But you also have, let's say, teacher materials PDF. That's where you have the answers to these questions, the conversation question. These are questions that you can use as a teacher to start a conversation in the class about that subject. Also some teacher tips, vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation, again, about that subject. And the last class diary. In this case, there is none because there is not a last class information to gather from. So if you go to class diary, let's say you just finish your class, right? Or you just upload here the test grade. Let's say the student got 90% right. As a teacher, you get a sense of how good this student is developing. So let's say it's 80. Also, you can input something that you want to remember for the next class. Specifically, let's say review, past tense, because you notice that the students had problems with that. And some additional notes about whatever. You're just gonna upload your test here. And when you upload that information, you're going to update the database. And once you update the database, the next week, you're going to give your next class to the students. You're going to be able to retrieve that information here, last class diary. The third main functionality is the database. So that's where you, as an owner, manager, can add new professors, new teachers to your school, or of course, students. And when you do add students, you need to assign a teacher. And finally, you have the reports. That's where you can easily see how good the students are doing and also over time. You do have a ranking as well. And only you as the owner or manager can actually see this. Hey, as you see, this application is very useful for the teachers themselves, but also for the managers and owner. I have here some cool learnings or key comments, especially about my experience using Cursor for the first time. So if you can stop this video now, you're more than welcome to do so. Also, I would say that I had 2 major or main challenges throughout this entire process, being anything related to UI, formatting, colors. Clearly, that's not my forte. Finally, the solution we were using to actually get the transcript of the video. So as you can see here, when I was just testing it, running it locally, it was working just fine with the solution. But when I did deploy it with Vercel, it wouldn't work. So I had to use the Superdata API alternative that is currently working just fine. But if we are to increase the amount of calls, meaning the amount of test generations we have per month, I would strongly consider moving to a different solution, which would be a self-hosted transcript option. That, of course, would require an additional effort, but entirely possible. And if we are to sell this to a big language school, that would be actually a recommendation. Of course, we would customize everything to the client's needs, whatever that might be. This has been a very fun challenge. Let me know what you think. If you have any comments, any doubts, you're more than welcome to ask in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching.